Survive the night. I got some things to say. Let's talk about it. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel. We are here to talk about everything I read in the month of July. Almost said August, but we're not there yet. Today is actually August 1st when I'm recording this. But this is my July wrap up. And let's see, I had one DNF, go figure, like three 3-star reads, one 2-star, and I think one 4-star. Don't quote me on that. Let's just get into it, shall we? I always like to go in order from my least favorite books to my most favorite books. So we are going to start with, of course, the DNF. And this one, I am sad to say, was my buddy read with Nikki from Dark Between Pages. It is Black Heart Boys Choir by Curtis Lawson. I DNF'd this at about 17%. If you do not know, quickly, it's about a boy whose dad was a musician. This boy is also very into music. He gets together a group of guys and they form a choir, but there is this piece of music that his dad left behind that was unfinished. His dad passed away. And apparently that music that his son, the main character, starts to look at and I guess try to finish it, he gets kind of possessed by the music. So it's kind of a possession story, I guess. Nikki finished this before me, so that kind of made me lose my momentum. I've already told her this. I was not really into it in the first place. It is very dark, so if you're looking for that, go ahead and read it. My other problem was that the main character, Lucian, was just not likable for me. He was just very rude to people, grumpy. I mean, he had his reasons, but again, I just didn't find any qualities that were redeeming to make me want to keep reading from his point of view. He would basically have like these inner thoughts or picturing things that he would love to do to people, you know, people that irritate him. You know what that's like. But it was just also, like I said, it was just very dark and it definitely gets graphic as far as like blood and all of that. So I would recommend it for people who love that kind of stuff. Just for me, character-wise, I'm learning that that is one of the things I need in a good story. I just wasn't feeling him. And like I said, once Nikki finished it and she did her video, I will link it below. I watched her video and I was kind of like, I'm feeling the same way. We don't need to waste our time going any further. So we're just going to stop this train. So again, only DNF this month. So hey, that's not bad. Let's move on to my 2-star read. All right, so my 2-star read is a book called You Have Arrived at Your Destination by Amor Towles. I believe, hope that's how you say the last name. This is a short little sci-fi novella. I saw Tori from Tori Moreau, her channel. I saw her talk about this in a video where she said it's like a Black Mirror episode that she enjoyed. So I was like, short Black Mirror episode? Let's give it a go. This one was on my Kindle Unlimited, so I got to read it for free. I just always love my Kindle Unlimited. I will put a link to this book below if you want to check it out. Yeah, basically it's a story about the future where there is a fertility clinic that not only lets you choose your child's hair color, eye color, height, and all of that, but you can also choose their life that they're going to lead. So we are with the main character, Sam, when he goes to the fertility clinic, Vitech, to meet with them and talk about his and his wife's options. The wife has already been there ahead of him. She happens to pick out 3 children or 3 possible kids that she would like to proceed with. So he is now finding out what she chose and exactly what this place is about. So I love the concept. It was very fascinating following along with him and seeing what, you know, they were presenting to him. Then he leaves the fertility clinic and he makes a stop at a nearby bar. And that is where it just got weird. And I still was along for the ride though. I was still here for it. But the ending, I was just like, I didn't get it. I had to go back and reread some stuff to see what I missed. And I was just like, okay, I think I get it. And then I, marked it as I had finished it on Goodreads, and I got my little email that says, like, you finished it, see what else other people have had to say. And I saw that people left questions about the ending. So it wasn't just me. So I also was telling my daughter about this book, and she was like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. And then when I was talking to her, I was like, you know what? I wasn't sure where I was going to land with my rating, but now I am. 2 stars. It was just okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, you can give it a go. It's only 45 pages, so it's not going to cost you a lot of time, but for me, it was just okay. So anyway, moving on. Next up, we have another novella. I read a couple because Goodreads was trying to tell me that I'm behind on my Goodreads reading challenge. And I was like, no, sir, no, ma'am. We're going to fix that. So I did squeeze in 2 novellas this month, and I'm going to try to squeeze in some more so I can bump up my reading challenge. I don't care about numbers here weekly, but I set a goal for myself and I want to meet it. So this is just for me. But anyway, this one is called The Last Night of October by Greg Chapman. I saw this on Kasha's Book Cemetery channel here on YouTube. And yeah, it is perfect for Halloween spooky season. I kind of wish I read it during Halloween time because it takes place on Halloween night, but I read it now. I still enjoyed it, but it would have been nice to have the extra Halloween vibes. Anyway, this book is about an old man named Gerald who is wheelchair bound. He also needs like oxygen tank, and he is rather grumpy and curmudgeon-y. So when we meet him, again, it is Halloween night, and a nurse comes to check on him, and he is terrified of what could be on the other side of the door. He doesn't want to let her in, and when she comes in, he is just keep an eye on that door. He is terrified. And a knock comes to the door. And again, he is terrified. And we will find out why. I enjoyed this. My main complaint, and I just don't get it, was the grammar mistakes. There were just so many. At one point, there was a character's last name that was misspelled. There were sentences that I had to be like, what is this supposed to say? If those grammar mistakes weren't there, this probably would have got bumped up to a 4-star read. Those just really took me out of it. So that was part of the problem. But otherwise, I found it spooky and creepy. It actually had some gore and body horror that I was not expecting, to where I actually said out loud, like, oh, that's disgusting. So I would recommend it. Like I said, I enjoyed it. 3 stars. But just know, like I said, there are grammar mistakes all throughout. I may check out something else this author has written. I hope that's not an issue with his other writing. But again, I don't want to say too much because since it's so short, I don't want to ruin anything. But like I said, nice for Halloween time. Moving on. Okay, next up, we have the infamous, at this point, Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This one, I gave 3 stars. I did a review, so I'm not going to go too far into it. I will link it here. Basically, this is about a woman named Charlie who's in college. She is desperate to leave school and she needs a ride back home. Her boyfriend's busy with finals or midterms or whatever, but she wants to leave quick, fast, and in a hurry. We find out why. So she goes to the little drive share board they have on campus. This takes place in the early 90s, so there's no website or anything you can go to, no Uber. And she meets this guy named Josh. He's like, hey, I'm going your way. He's at the drive share board. So of course she's like, oh, you're looking for somebody to ride with too. So she's like, okay. She decides to take a ride with him. Meanwhile, there is a campus killer on the loose who has been killing young women on campus, including Charlie's roommate, Maddie, who was recently killed in this story. So we go along with Charlie on this ride with this young man, and as they're going along, he's saying some things and doing some things that are weird and leads her to believe he could be the campus killer. So then it's, of course, how can she survive the night? As I said, you will have to go watch my review to hear my detailed thoughts. I did a spoiler-free version and a little bit of a longer version with spoilers because I had some things to say. So if you don't want to read this book, you just want to know what it's about, you can watch the spoiler portion. And of course, if you want to know what I have to say, spoiler-free, there's that there for you too. But as I said, 3 stars, very interesting. Let's move on. Last but not least, we have Finley Donovan is Killing It by Elle Casamano. This was a new release from 2021. I got this from my library, but it was in high demand, darling. So I already had to return it, which is why I don't have the physical copy. But this book I rather enjoyed. It is about a woman named Finley Donovan, the titular character. Hello. She is a writer. She goes to have a meeting with her literary agent, and they are discussing the plot for her next mystery book. And there is a woman at a nearby table who overhears them and thinks that Finley Donovan is a murderer for hire. And the plot thickens. But yeah, so the literary agent leaves, and this woman at this next table slides her a little note and propositions her to kill her husband. And Finley Donovan is struggling financially because, of course, as a writer, they put her in this situation where she's a little bit, strapped for cash. She's a newly single mother, divorced from her husband, and this woman makes her an offer she may not be able to refuse. And it just goes from there. This book was so much fun. I saw this on Gabby Reed's channel, and I'm so glad she recommended it because I probably would have never picked it up. First of all, the cover, look at it, all the pink, and don't let it fool you. I don't know why the cover looks like that. It was, like I said, so much fun. It was funny. I laughed out loud. It had suspense. There were moments where I was holding my breath, waiting to see what was going to happen. I did not know which way this story was going to turn. There's actually a little element of a Russian mob in there. Ooh, we're getting dirty and grimy. Let me find out. I was not expecting that. I rather enjoyed it. So, what was my rating? 4 stars, darling. 4 stars. I took off a star because there was a little bit more romance that I would have preferred. And I mean, like, some stuff got a little extra sappy describing these men in this book and insta love. But regardless, I still enjoyed it. It has opened my eyes to more books like this. I guess some people call it a cozy mystery, but I attempted to read one last month, as you know, and this is nothing like that. So I don't put this in that category, but like I said, it was super enjoyable. There is a sequel coming out that I can't wait for. So yes, as I said, 4 stars. I highly recommend this book. It is one of my favorites from 2021. So let's move on. I also have one last book that I am still in progress with. So I'm going to put it in this video and then I'll also wrap it up whenever I finish it. It would be Project Mary by Andy Weir. I read The Martian, I want to say in January, I believe. And I kind of struggled through reading the physical copy, so I switched to the audiobook, and same thing is going on with this one. I think for the next Andy Weir book, I'm just going to stick to the audiobook. I'm not even going to try to read the physical copy because there is always a lot of science in his books. And for me, reading it, it just reminded me of being in college where my mind wanders. I can't stay focused. I don't fully understand it. I want to understand it. But when I'm listening to the audiobook, I'm able to get it more. And also, I can just go on about my business doing other things while they're going on about the science stuff. So if you've seen other people review this and they make it seem like it's easy to read, don't listen to that. It is a lot of science. And if you're like me, maybe a little difficult. But other than that, this has been rather enjoyable so far. As I said, from the audiobook, which I highly recommend. You can see I'm almost at the midway point. It is about this astronaut who wakes up on a ship and he has no idea why he's there. He doesn't even know who he is. We end up finding out that the Earth is in danger and he is on this ship to try to help. So I can't say too much more. I don't want to spoil too many things. I'm also only halfway, so there's only so much I can say. But I will say a lot of people have mentioned this in their mid-year freakout tags, and they talked about a character in this book that was a favorite, and it's not the main character. And I will say I am finally at that point where I think I know who that character is, and it is very interesting. So far, as I said, I'm enjoying it. I will update later on, probably a month or so from now when I finally finish it, because I'm listening to the audiobook when I get a chance, like when I go to the store and if I'm doing something around the house where I don't mind listening. But so yeah, stay tuned for that. So that wraps up my July reads. It wasn't too bad, wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. My favorite book, of course, was Finley Donovan. I'm glad I discovered that book. And as I said, it has opened my horizons to more lighthearted books. I have added so many to my TBR now that I'm looking forward to after spooky season. So stay tuned for that. So let me know in the comments what your favorite read was of July. And yeah, if you have any recommendations that are similar to Finley Donovan, let me know as well. And if you made it this far in the video, leave me a black heart in the comments or any color heart that you choose. So that is all. Until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, unplug as much as possible, be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.